The story's called The Things Willy Wumperbill Saw. Little Willy Wumperbill was not your ordinary kid. Oh no. It's not that he looked so much different. He was a little shorter than most, kind of skinny, and had quite a few freckles. But that's not what made him different, no. What made Willy an extraordinary kind of kid was he saw things other people didn't see. Things they didn't even think of seeing. One bright sunny day, Willy was walking to school. And as usual, he was kind of depressed because he didn't like his teacher that year. He had Mr. Boron. Willy went into Mr. Boron's class and sat in his little hard wooden chair. On Mr. Boron, the chalkboard, scree, 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 scree. And Willy didn't even hear words coming out. He just saw sand gathering at Mr. Boron's feet like an hourglass turned upside down. And Willy sat there and he watched the clock. Tick, tock, tick, tock. And he thought, man, I sure am bored. Just then, a large black fly flew by his eyes, over to the window, tap, tap. It was trying to escape, tap, tap. It was trying to go out in that sunny sky. And Willy, he wanted to go too. He could relate to that fly. He wanted to go out. Staring in the window was a large polar bear. Willy thought, it must have escaped from the zoo. And it started to push its huge muzzle against the window. And it happened to be one of those windows that opens to the inside, which it did. And the polar bear climbed in. And it spied Melanie Whiteshoes, who Willy secretly liked. And it started to head towards her. But Willy had his trusty straw with a spitball in it, and he shot the polar bear in its eye. And it jumped out the window. The teacher said, Willy, you know you're not supposed to shoot spitballs in class? And he grabbed him by his ear, ow, and he dragged him all the way to the principal's office. Yes, he had to sit in that bare little room in that chair. It had those motivational posters, you know, climb the highest mountain and do the very best and drink lots of milk kinds of things. And he sat there looking at those posters, and he looked at the principal's door, and it had a window. But it wasn't clear glass, it was that kind of smoky glass. You can just see shadows behind it. He saw the shadow of the principal. She talked on the phone. Willy Wumperbill. He's in trouble now. Willy went, oh man, I'm in trouble now. And just then he was staring at this little rug, but it wasn't a rug. It was a rowboat. So he jumped in. And he wasn't in that little room. He was out in the ocean. He was rowing himself. Beautiful sky everywhere, except for some dark clouds far away on the horizon, but the clouds came faster and faster. And then lightning, there's a great white shark. Cruising up, and it jumped out with its teeth. Willy took an oar, stuck it in his mouth just as the principal, Ms. Woodhands, opened her office door. Creak! Willy, we'll send you home for the day. You violated school rule X9.001-007. Spitballs from a straw. You can't come back to school until your mother signs this letter. By the way, what are you doing on my rug? You look positively frightened, child. And Willy took the note, and he put it in his pocket, walked out, feeling pretty dejected by the day's events. He walked down the street and thought, why doesn't anyone else see polar bears? Why doesn't anyone else see sharks? Why doesn't anyone else see... Just then, this building in front of Willy began to change shape, shimmer. It grew a giant tail, little arms with claws, and a gigantic head with teeth. It turned into a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And it started to come for Willy. And Willy went, ah, like that. He started running, but it just chased him. Willy ran around the corner like that, and the Tyrannosaur came out, and it stepped on a car and crushed it. Just as easy as Willy could crush a toy. and it kept after him. But Willy ran, he saw a tunnel, and he jumped in just as the Tyrannosaur went. And it hit its head on the tunnel, and Willy was safe in the tunnel. But it wasn't a tunnel. It was a cave. There were stalactites hanging from the ceiling, and skulls, white like vanilla ice cream scoops at his feet, and bats, squeak, 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 like that. And then this huge rat, this tall, 8 feet long, and a 6-foot naked tail, little red eyes, greasy fur, came up. You want to ride to the other end of the cave? Willy's scared. He's freaking out. He's thinking, what do I do? He could hear the Tyrannosaur outside. I thought, what do I do, man? The rat or the Tyrannosaur? Rat or Tyrannosaur? Guess I'll choose the rat. Yes, Mr. Rat. I'd like a ride to the other end of the cave. Fine. Hop on my back and I'll give you one. So Willy grabbed a handful of that greasy fur. And then another handful. And he got on the rat's back. And it stopped. And he really was at the other end of the cave. He could see daylight. And he got off the rat and he said, thanks, Mr. Rat. And the rat said, sure, not a problem. Just remember, not all rats are bad. And Willy stepped out into the sun. And he was in his own neighborhood. He was almost home. So he's walking down the street and he saw an old man, long white hair and a beard, walking down, stars floating around his head. And Willy's staring at him like that. The old man said, what are you staring at, young man? Willy said, mister, you got stars floating around your head. You look like a wizard. Well, funny you should say that, because I am one. But nobody knows unless they can see the stars. If they can see the stars, they must be magic too. And he made a bouquet of flowers. Here, boy, give these to your mama. I think you're going to need them. And Willy went, whoa, flowers for Mom! And he ran home. And after that day, things changed for Willy Wumperbill. He began to use his magic to do fun and good things instead of create monsters that wanted to eat him. Like if he was at a birthday party at school and everybody got cupcakes and he was really hungry, ate it, tasted good. There's only one crumb left and he was still hungry. Willy could shrink himself to the size of an ant. And that crumb would be like, I love cupcakes. I love cupcakes. Like that, right? Or if he was home and his mom said, Willy, you didn't do your homework. You go to your room and you don't come out until you finish. Okay, Mom. Go up to his room, shut the door, open the window, and he'd get on his little rug, he'd turn into a magic carpet. Fly, carpet, fly. And he'd fly around the neighborhood, over the trees. And the skateboard dudes go, whoa, check out Willy. Hey, Willy, how you doing? Later, dudes, gotta fly. Then he'd fly back into his room, shut the window, do his homework. Mom's gonna love it. Mom's gonna love it. Mom, I finished my homework. Oh, Willy, come down. You're such a good boy. I made you some cookies. Like that. But his favorite thing to do, Willy could make himself invisible. He'd do that at school. And then he'd sneak up behind some girl. And he'd tap her on her back and she'd turn around and look. But there was nobody there. Yes, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, little Willy Wumperbill saw things that other people didn't see. And because of it, he led a fantastic life. I'd love to hear your story, Josine.